Hey guys, Jason here from Tag Overland, and we're here in Manitoba.
Denver, you idiot.
Oh yeah, Denver, and it's a little chilly outside. Hey guys, it's Jason from Tag Overland, and we're here with Wyatt from Off-Grid 4x4 up in beautiful Frederick, Colorado on this lovely spring day. And Wyatt is going to give us a walk around of his new four-wheel camper's Campout that's on his personal truck.
I want to say thank you to Jason for bringing his tariff hat and the snow with him this morning. It's been a beautiful day here. But like he said, this is the 4 Campers Campout. This is the newest model in their line. It is designed to be completely modular. You get to decide exactly how it is built out from the start as well as in the future. So anything that you're looking to add in this, from the furnace to the water system to the seats, is all something that can be done right now or in the future. This one's built on my Ford F-250 Power Stroke with a Carly suspension kit and some 35s. And it's a really do anything, go anywhere truck, but anywhere I go is going to be comfortable when I get there.
Awesome. So, Wyatt, I know we've known each other for a long time. We've gone camping a lot. I know I've seen you go through several different vehicle builds. So I guess the question I have for you is, like, I know you had what was it, the Camp In? Or the Project In?
Yep.
Before this, right?
Yep.
On the Ranger?
Yep.
So why the Campout? And how have you built this truck differently based on what you've learned over the years on your different rigs? And, like, because I know you're a very discerning guy and you like, you know, performance, and I've been on you on some of these trips we've done, and it's a lot of, you know, you'll be rock crawling 1 minute and going down a dirt road superhighway the next. So I'd love to hear, you know, why the Campout and why the switch to full size, and also, like, what have you done to this truck here at Off-Grid 4x4 that people out there that are looking to build their full size rigs might be interested in doing?
Yeah. So, like Jason said, I've built a variety of different vehicles, from Jeeps to Tacomas. My previous truck was a Ford Ranger with a Project M, which is a topper style camper, super lightweight. Wheeled that truck pretty much everywhere that I wanted to go. And we made the choice last year actually to get rid of that truck and switch up to a full-size truck, because there's a couple plans in the future to incorporate towing another vehicle of mine for harder trails, and as well as going up to Prudhoe Bay in Alaska and doing about 2, maybe 3 months on the road. So we wanted something a little bit bigger, a little bit more comfortable for long highway miles. And when it comes to this truck, I outfitted it similarly to some of my other trucks, where, you know, the suspension lift is kind of the core component. I went with a Carly pin top 2.5-inch kit. On this generation of truck in particular, we did an HD relief pack, but it's actually out of the 08 to 11 trucks. So if you look in there, you can actually see the front mount has been moved 8 inches forward to give a better ride quality and a lot more articulation on this truck. It's on a 35, you know, stock Ford Tremor size, but it's enough for this truck. The other thing that we have kind of prioritized is fuel range. So this truck has a 60-gallon Titan fuel tank, so I have around about 1,000 miles
That's awesome.
of normal use. And then, of course, you know, ARB bumper up the front, because you can't go wrong with the ARBs on these trucks. This one, because we do a lot of travel solo where it's just one rig, we went with a come up 16,500 pound winch on it, some Ironman 4x4 lights, Baja Designs lights, just to try and create a well-rounded package of everything we needed to explore and to not really be worried about whatever we come across on those trips.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen a lot more people going towards the come-up winches lately. You're seeing them on, obviously you guys are putting them on your rig.
Yep.
I know AEV's been putting them on the GMC and Chevy builds.
Yeah.
And I've just seen a bunch of them over the last year or so at Overland Expo, you know, when you go to those events. How do you like the Ironman 4x4 lights?
They've been extremely impressive, actually. They have a great light output. They have a side shooter style, so main spot beam with a flood beam on the side. It's the perfect light for bombing, you know, 40, 50 miles an hour down a dirt road.
Awesome.
Puts out just the right amount.
So how are you controlling all the lights? Are you using
I have an sPOD.
sPOD? Okay. And you guys sell those?
We do sell those and install them here. Everything you see on this truck, we are dealers for Ironman, ARB, Come Up, Carly. That's one of our biggest lines. We do a Carly kit nearly every single week here.
Awesome. Yeah, I know when I first got here, you were telling me about the Carly shocks and how impressive they are in terms of, I think you said going down one of those roads and you see a washout and you start to cringe and then you just skip right over it with these shocks, right?
Yeah. So basically the best thing I can say is, I've run Fox, I've run Bilstein, Old Man Emu, a ton of different suspension kits, and I've installed just about every one on the market. The Carly tuned kings on this truck are just exceptional. They are truly a step above anything else that I've run. Anything that you think you're going to bottom out on, anything you think is going to be this hard, jarring impact, it just simply, soaks it up, doesn't care. And with the remote reservoirs on the truck, you can really just run them for hours and hours and hours on end, even with a truck that weighs 10,000 pounds. And the shocks will never overheat. The shocks will never fade out.
That's amazing. Can we check out the inside of the
of course.
Campout? All right. We're inside the Campout.
Yep.
So is this equipped standard or are there options that you've chosen? Is it, I remember you saying it's modular, right?
Yep.
So I'm assuming there's different packages or you just build out the interior the way you want it?
Correct. So on the back, there is 2 modules that are standard in all of them, where the left side you see here is the power module. That's where you're going to have your battery, your charging system, everything like that as standard. You can then add in the furnace to that one. This one has on the other side there, the stove on top of the standard storage module. The bottom of that is actually where the propane tanks are stored.
Okay.
This one has a majority of the options available, like the Dometic CFX 55 IM, full length storage underneath the seats. This one also has the water module where it's using the Dometic water jugs and the Dometic faucet. So really nice feature is you have about 12 gallons of water in here. You do have a black tank. And for winterization, it's simply just dumping the tanks out. There's nothing else that you have to do to winterize this camper, which is one of the reasons I really liked it. I like camping year round. I don't like letting weather stop me. So when we go out to Moab or Utah in January, I can choose to fill these up before we leave or when we get somewhere, because you could take these into a gas station and fill them up if you wanted to.
That's great. Yeah. I have one of those Dometic jugs and I really like it. And the faucet was a cool addition to it. It's just like kind of cool how they've packaged all that in such a small little battery operated deal.
Yes. Well, the other thing I like is on the Campout, it's designed to be lived in or lived out. So the stove is removable. You can take that out. You can put it on a table outside, cook outside. You can take one of these water tanks out and your faucet, go outside, set it on your table, do your dishes, do everything you need to outside. So this one gives by far the most adaptability. And if in the future I decide I don't want this water system or I don't want the fridge there, I want a longer seating area over there and turning this into where the fridge sits, that's all doable. That's all stuff that you can do in the future.
Awesome. That's very cool. Do these cushions come with it or are these something you made?
No, these are an option from 4-Wheel. I went with my favorite pattern on them, the Deer Valley, probably one of their oldest running fabrics, actually.
That's very cool. And looks like it's pretty well insulated around the top.
Yeah, this one's got the additional thermal pack. That's actually new for 2024. It's a 3-layer insulation pack with a 3M thin slit material in between the layers to really help keep this camper warm.
Very cool. And these, I've been noticing these hooks here. Do they swing up and attach or?
So those are actually for lowering the roof. 4-Wheel is, 4-Wheel's been around since 1972. They know a thing or two about what works, what doesn't. So there's actually bungees that just simply hook up between those. When you lower the roof, that just pulls the fabric in. It's very rare that this fabric doesn't just come in perfectly every time I lower it. It's nothing fancy, but it works, and it works reliably.
That's very cool because I remember when I had my my old JK with the Ursa Minor top on it, I had to end up doing the same kind of thing because they have that like piano hinge
Right,
type
and
of,
it kind of stuffs out
yeah.
at the end.
So I ended up hooking bungees in, and it's like you said, it's simple but it works, you know.
Yep.
Well, Wyatt, I appreciate the tour, man, and I really like that you pointed out that it's adaptable because I was just thinking, you know, while you were talking about being able to take the stove out, that's cool because that was something when I had my old Sprinter van. I was like, man, I don't want a kitchen in the Sprinter van because if
you're cooking something that's smelly.
Right, yeah, you're cooking fish or whatever, right? Like you've gone fishing on the river, now you're cooking your dinner.
Yep.
You want to cook that outside, not inside.
Exactly. Yeah, I cook outside probably 80% of the time, but the ability to cook inside when it's super windy, it's raining or it's snowing, is a really nice kind of addition to it.
Awesome. Yeah, and I see they've got are those Max Air or is it different?
Yep, there's Max Airs. On all the Campouts, the rear one is standard, and then this one does have one up front, but we do have a kind of blackout cover for it on it.
All right.
And then this Campout does have a king size bed.
That's very cool. So this
will slide out all the way to here.
Slides out, okay.
And then it is, it's 82-inch long by 77-inch wide bed. It is a massive sleeping area.
That is awesome. Because I know somebody that watches this video from Texas is going to ask.
Yep.
Do they have AC options or is
They do.
Okay.
In the Campouts, I'm actually a little bit questionable on the Campouts. I know our normal slide-ins, the Hawk, the Granby, there is a roof-mounted AC that's a 12-volt unit.
Mm-hmm.
It is recommended that you do the largest battery system, which is the 470 amp hour lithium package, if you're going to be running an AC. But we actually do have a couple Texas customers that have ordered them with rooftop ACs.
Okay, and that AC on that 470 amp hour battery pack will run off grid?
You'll run off grid for a pretty long time. You will want to run solar with it. If it's a super, super hot day, you might have to start the truck for a little bit on occasion, but with the Red Arc power system in this, you have a true 25 amp DC to DC charger or upgradable to the 30 amp manager system. You can recharge the batteries of these campers.
Okay. And I mean, in your experience, I know with my experience with the Max Air fans, I had two of them in my Sprinter van, and as you know, I didn't really finish the build out of the inside of that Sprinter van out. So I didn't have nearly the insulation you've got in here, but I felt like running, one of them out and one of them in, creating a little wind tunnel was perfectly fine in most of the conditions we run into in Colorado. Heck, even in Moab, in the summertime, I ran that as a little wind tunnel and I was fine sleeping. But I feel like for those customers that are, west of Kansas, they'd probably be okay with
where the humidity comes in is where it starts to struggle. With my Project M, we camped 50 plus nights in it over the last year, and all the way from Flagstaff in May at Overland Expo, obviously, where it was, in the 90s for most of that show. I only had a single fan in there, same thermal package as this one, and it was easy to keep it in the 70s inside. And then we also took a trip out to Wisconsin and Michigan in the middle of June. Mm-hmm. And at no point then did I find it to be hot inside either. I tend to drive during the days anyways. Overnight, there was no issues. I could see down in Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Florida area. That's where you're going to want the AC, especially for the humidity.
Okay.
Kind of the unrelenting heat.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I grew up down in Georgia, so I know what that's like.
Exactly.
Well, Wyatt, thanks for your time. Anything you want to tell us about the camper or about off-grid 4x4 and what you guys are doing in addition to what we've already talked about?
Yeah. So just a quick thing on off-grid. We are here in Frederick, Colorado. We are the four-wheel camper dealer for all of Colorado as well as New Mexico. So if you have any four-wheel camper questions or are curious of four-wheel camper, we do have a large showroom here with multiple different models. And then off-grid is not just four-wheel campers. We do full truck builds, everything from suspension, bumpers, winches, electrical systems. Everything is done in-house. We have our own tire machines, own alignment racks, so we don't outsource anything when it comes to a build.
That's awesome. You guys, you hear that? I mean, it's like your Colorado one-stop shop for, an Overland build, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Wyatt, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back to the party.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Tag out.